All right. Y'all know I'm still here cooking the books. Y'all know how I do. Cooking the books, bringing you guys information. And I was posed with a question recently. Not directly. Let me rephrase that. I wasn't directly posed with a question, but indirectly I saw. So it was a group of men. They were discussing and it was actually religious brothers talking about when at what age is a woman can you marry a woman, right? And they were saying once she starts her menstrual, that it's okay to sleep with her, to engage in sexual relations with a young lady once she has begun her menstrual, and that's like the precursor to being able to have a child. And if they have a child, then now I said to myself, that's nonsense. Like that's just a horny dude trying to justify pedophilia or some shit. Because the reality is, there's something called estradiol. Estradiol, or no, xenoestrogen. Excuse me. Estradiol is something else. Xenoestrogen, or we know estrogen is responsible for a woman's development. That's a short answer. Xeno is foreign, right? That's like xenophobia, fear of foreigners, right? So xeno means anything that's outside, foreign. Xenoestrogen means that it's a foreign agent that stimulates the release of the hormones in a woman's body, right? It develops a female's body. Xenoestrogen is a formula or any kind of chemical that kind of it copies the actual estrogen and spurs the growth and development of a young lady's body. So estrogen, let's say estrogen would allow her to develop breasts at, let's say, 15, 16, she starts to develop like really, in her breast area, develop a lot in her breast area. Xenoestrogens will allow her to develop that same breast size cleavage at 9, 10. And the reason this happens, or 8, 7, the reason this happens is because xenoestrogens are chemicals that are around your house, right? Xenoestrogens can be found in chemicals that are around your house, cleaning products, right? These chemicals that are used in cleaning products can actually trip the estradiol or the estrogen wires within a young lady's biology and cause her to develop breasts at a very, 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 very early age. And that's the effects of xenoestrogen. Also, xenoestrogen can cause what's called menarche. Menarche is the very first time a young child, or I'm gonna use the word child because some of you guys are talking about these girls, and I'm looking at, like, listening to this conversation, I'm like, you're talking about a 12-year-old, 11-year-old. These are kids, right? It's sick. So menarche is when a young lady or a young child or an adolescent first experience her menstrual cycle, the very, very first time. The reason why I bring that up is because xenoestrogen, again, chemicals found in cleaning products, or it could be in your foods, right? Chemicals that are put in foods, like to make foods have a longer shelf life. They'll use certain hormones, or they'll stack the food with certain chemicals that gives it a longer shelf life, or also to spur the growth and development of the food. They'll inject the food with certain chemicals, and then this young lady will eat this food, and those chemicals would be considered xenoestrogen because they would have the same effect as the normal estrogen in her body. However, they would have a more rapid, the velocity with which these xenoestrogens spur the growth and development of her body far supersedes any natural biological stimulant or natural biological function. So xenoestrogens speed up the process of a young lady's development. So when you hear people saying, okay, if a young lady has a menstrual, that's a sign, that's a precursor, that's foreshadows that she's of age to marry or to have copulation with. And like I said, I hear this from the religious group, And I'm like, no, that's not what that means. You know, if a girl, there's studies out there right now that I've researched that there's been girls that are 8, 9 years old that are having their menarche, and it's a result of hair products, right? The chemicals that they put in the hair products, what it does, it mimics the actual stimulants to develop the hormone. So the estrogen is a stimulant that develops certain hormones. The xenoestrogen, which is the foreign substance or the foreign chemical, mimics the natural chemical, and the actual receptors in the body doesn't distinguish whether this is a domestic estrogen agent from the biological system, or it's a foreign impersonating estrogen of the environment. It doesn't distinguish, right? The receptors in the body doesn't distinguish. So it is fooled. It is fooled by the outside chemicals and believes that these are natural estrogens and therefore grow, develop, advance, etc. And so brothers out there who are making the argument that, oh, as long as she's having her menstrual, I can sleep with her, that's bogus. That's bogus, and it's a lack of proper education and information on the adult's part who's justifying menstrual with sleeping with 12, 10, 11-year-olds or whatever. No, that's a miseducation, misinformation, and it's pedophilia. I don't care which way you want to slice it, dice it. It's the same. It's pedophilia. The using religious justification is no difference than the guy who hangs out at the playground, you know, trying to pick up kids from the park. You know what I'm saying? The guy who drives his car to the elementary school and sits outside at the park. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's bad. It's no way to, you know, that's just not healthy, unhealthy. And so wake up, get rid of that psychology. Again, study, research, look at xenoestrogens. If you have daughters, I have a little daughter, so it's in my best interest to make myself familiar and aware, because I don't want to have to put nobody in the grave. You know what I'm saying? Telling me my daughter look beautiful and she's only 10. Like, dude, what? You know what I'm saying? But miseducation, misinformation. So again, study up on xenoestrogens, find out what they are. They are what's responsible for all these little girls, little kids, having their menstruals early, developing breasts early, developing their curvatures, their sex appeal, their sexual nature. It's estrogen. Estrogen is responsible for a woman's sexual appeal, sexual nature, and everything that comes with that, the characteristics and so on and so forth, the properties of her sexuality. But we do have these xenoestrogens that are tripping the system, tripping the wires, if you will, and advancing these developments. But you got to keep in mind, a physical body doesn't qualify maturity. All right, I'm gonna drop some more science on you guys. A physical body does not qualify maturity. Right? Your maturity is not determined by your physical body. It has nothing to do with your physical body. So when you look at a physical body and say, oh, her physical body's developed, therefore, but her physical body might be developed, but her spiritual or her intellectual, her mind, right, is still unripened. It's immature. I mean, you're talking about 11, 12-year-old girl here, and you're saying because she has her menarche and she's physically developed, but her mind is not even, you know, her mind is underdeveloped, you know. So we gotta be mindful of that we can't pray and we can't become predators and use religion or any kind of religious delusional religion. I call it delusional religious justification, because you're deluding yourself to believe something that flies in the face of scientific facts. Scientific facts is that she's not of age. She's not ripe. Okay? She's not ready to be picked from the tree. You know what I'm saying? So stop it out there. Don't use religion to justify that. Mark speaks, cooking these books with a whole new meaning.